Hi everyone, and welcome to Coffee Break with me, Jackie. This evening I have three interesting topics for you. Tandra Kahani, how to build a career in television and one of Fiji's most exciting and dangerous sports. Yes, I am talking to you about hockey. Anyways, moving on with our chat, we have Amalia Risby from CFL. Yes, the same beautiful lady you listen to on Legend FM, who will be telling us about Fiji's primary and secondary schools drama and dance competition, Tandra Kahani. Thank you, Amalia, for joining me this evening.
Thank you so much for having me, Jackie.
So tell me, what is Tandra Kahani about?
Well, Tandra Kahani has been around for a very, very long time. It's actually in its 18th year this year. We've had over 40 schools come through, 10,000 students have taken to the stage. So it's kind of evolved in the whole process. I think the most important thing that Tandra Kahani is about, it's about giving young people the chance to use music and dance to express strong lifestyle messages that mean something to them. It's about giving them the chance to produce a live piece of entertainment set to contemporary music, giving them the chance to learn all the elements of stage production that they wouldn't normally learn, like staging and lighting and props and choreography, financing and budgeting, that kind of thing. But above all else, I think Tandra Kahani is most importantly about fun, entertainment, and team building.
Okay. What does Tandra Kahani mean?
Tandra Kahani is, there's two elements to it. Tandra is Fijian for dream, and Kahani is Hindi for story. It originally started in 1995 as the Rock Challenge, and it was an Australian concept, yes. But what we realized was that what kind of works for people in Australia doesn't necessarily work for people in Fiji, so we wanted to bring it home. We wanted to make it more local, hence the change in name. So it became Tandra Kahani, the Dream Story Stage Show.
Okay. What are the values that Tandra Kahani has for students?
Well, one of the things that we've noticed and one of the things that we've learned is that, you know, a lot of children all over the world and in Fiji as well, they're not sports inclined, they're not academically inclined.
Yeah,
so what Tandra Kahani does is it gives them an avenue to explore career path, yes, and creativity and entertainment and creative arts. Plus, research has shown that children who balance academia and sports with creativity, it allows them to learn how to use the left and right sides of their brain. So it allows them to express themselves, and it gives them it helps them to learn more.
Okay. Do you think? What are the objectives that you have?
Well, we have a lot of objectives, but I think the important ones is, number one, we want to express to our students, our aim is to show our participants that through hard work, through perseverance, through team building, and through creativity, that excellence is possible. And that by blending all of these themes, you know, breaking down racial barriers and teenage pregnancy and HIV/AIDS, when they work this closely to these themes, they learn a lot about it. Then they take it home, and they don't just take it home and keep it to themselves. You know, it goes out to their families and to their friends. So before you know it, you haven't just affected a school, you've affected a whole community, and that's really powerful.
Okay. With the themes that you just mentioned, teenage pregnancy, what's the response like from the schools?
Well,
I mean, especially, you know, with our Fijian background, we were very reserved. So.
Well, the thing is, we don't put any pressure on any of our schools to do things that they don't want to. In fact, when a school comes into Tandra Kahani, we ask them to choose the theme, because we want them to do a production that's important to them, that's important to their lifestyles. Like Namosi, when they came in, their production was based on the environment, because they work so closely with it. That was what was important to them. So when these schools come in and they're doing things like teenage pregnancy and violence in the home and substance abuse, that's their students making that decision to choose that theme to portray on the night.
Okay. And how exciting is it? I mean, tell me about it, the response from the schools, the kids.
It's very exciting. We've got 9 schools right now who are just knee-deep in rehearsals. It's amazing, I tell you. It amazes me how just efficient that they are, you know. They take these themes and they just run with it, you know. One thing, they may start off in one direction, but then they get more ideas and they get more people's input, and then they go off in another direction, and before you know it, they've come up with this incredible theme. Like Cathedral last year, did their theme on bullying, and they won with that theme. And it was just so powerful what they did.
So you're saying that different schools choose different themes?
Yes, they do. They can choose whatever theme they like, as long as it's a strong, positive lifestyle message.
So how many themes do you give out to the schools and then they pick? Because I thought that you're given one theme and then all schools work on that theme.
No, we opened it up a couple of years ago. Whatever a school wants to do, they can do. Like last year, we had 2 schools who did bullying. We had International School Suva and we had Cathedral Secondary School. But we could have said, "I'm sorry, you can't do this," because another school is doing that. But they chose it because that's what they wanted to do. So we just let it go.
So how are the preparations coming so far?
They're coming along very, very well. We had our launch on Tuesday. We've got a Facebook page up and running. So if anyone wants to see what's going on with Tantra Kahani, they can check us out on our Facebook page. And like I said,
it must be crazy, right? Because it's next month.
It is. It's about 2-3 weeks away.
Wow.
Yes. So we've got 9 schools in. They're preparing very, very well.
Is it high schools or primary schools as well?
High schools this year.
Okay.
Yes.
No primary schools?
No primary schools this year, only because they have the classroom-based assessment.
Oh, so can you explain?
The classroom-based assessment, I'm not really too sure about the facts, but from what I know personally, and don't quote me on this.
Okay, we won't.
But for the primary schools, they get their schoolwork in the classroom gets assessed, and that's done weekly. I'm not sure weekly, monthly, but
okay, so it's not a good time right now.
Yes, far be it from us to tell teachers and to tell students.
Oh, they must have been really disappointed.
Yes.
Yeah?
But we understand where the ministry is coming from, and we understand where the teachers are coming from. So, as soon as everything dies down and everyone's back into the swing of things, we look forward to having them back at Tantra Kahani.
Oh wow. Okay, so if anyone wanted to buy tickets, where can they buy it from?
Tickets are $12, and you can get them from the home of FM 96. That's 231 Waimanu Road, at the Connect Retail Outlet at Nganilau House, or at FM 96 in Lotoka at the Bank of Baroda building.
Okay. So Amelia, tell me, how does Tantra Kahani work?
Well, what we do is we ask each of the schools to go and choose a theme. And once they've chosen their theme, we ask them to build a story around that theme. Then they take that story and they break it down into scenes, and they set those scenes to music. And that's where we come in. And by we, I mean the Communications Fiji Limited team. That's FM 96, Legend FM, VTFM, Sargam, and Naftaram. And whatever they want for their music, we do. If they want it edited, if they want it mixed or mashed, if they just want instrumentals, if they want sound effects, we do all of that for them. And once the final music piece is done, we give it back to the school. They go back and they start their preparations. That's choreography, set building.
Who helps them with all of this?
It's actually the students. The students do the bulk of it themselves, because you can remember when we were in school.
Yeah.
I'm showing you a few years ago, but
no, but I heard. That there was some schools that actually brought in, I think Alan from Oceania, to help them. I'm not sure which school was that.
Well, I'm not really sure, because I know that Alan's been away in Samoa for a while, but I know that a few schools, they do get help. But like I said, it's help. Because I don't know if you remember when we were in school, but when it comes to things like that, you just have such strong ideas. You know what I mean? You have your own ideas, the teachers have their ideas, but when you put a bunch of students together in a group and you tell them to do something like Tantra Kahani, they usually make their voice heard.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what you see on stage is them expressing themselves.
And how are the schools coming around with funding, trying to find their way, especially for schools like Namosi, coming from that side and coming into Suva, buses and finding accommodation?
Right. Well, we give each of the schools in the beginning a $1,000 grant, and they can use it however they like.
Wow.
We don't want receipts, we don't want explanations. You take this money, you do whatever you need to do with it. And that's for them to use as a base. A lot of schools, they take that $1,000 grant and they use it as a base for their fundraising. And some of them, they're really, really good. They can take that $1,000 and make it stretch. My grandmother could make $5 last for 2 weeks. And I guess
it only lasts me like 5 minutes.
and it's the same thing, Plus at the end of Tantra Kahani, whenever we have a profit, we take that money and we redistribute it back to schools as well.
I've read about that. That's really nice.
Yes. And if we have schools that come from afar, like we've had schools that came from Rambi, we've had schools that come from the west, we go out of our way to make sure that they get the funding that they need. If they're coming over by boat, we speak to the boat company.
You mean all the way from Rambi?
Yes.
You guys sent out an invitation, or they applied?
We sent out an invitation and they accepted.
Oh my, that's really nice. When was that?
This was a couple of years ago. We always tried to get them in.
Have they kept coming back, or was that just a one-off?
They came in for about 2 years, and then they took a little break, and we're hoping that they'll come back again this year.
Okay. And this is the high school?
This is a high school.
Okay. So what, out of the 9 schools, which ones are performing this year?
Sorry, which one of the...
The 9 schools that you mentioned are performing?
We have John Wesley College performing for the first time. We have Basson College who's coming back. We also have International Secondary School Suva, International Secondary School Nandi, Super Grammar School, Cathedral's back to defend their title. Del Pusha's taking part as well. Yes, I think I hope that's 9.
That's 9? I'm not sure, I'm not counting. So, I mean, what did the Cathedral won last year, right?
Yes.
So what did they win?
They won the honor of calling themselves the Tantra Kahani 2012 champions, plus they got cash prizes on the night, and that's not including the cash prizes that we give away for each of the different categories that they win, because we have different categories for best lighting, best sound, best soundtrack,
costume.
Yes, best costume, best backstage crew. So we give away quite a lot of money. I think last year on the night we gave away over $11,000.
Wow, that's a lot of money. And that's distributed right through the schools that are participating?
That's just on the night itself, and then after the night, our profits are redistributed back to the school. Okay.
Tell me, what school has not performed that you would like them to come in?
Oh, there's so many. You know, there's so many schools.
There is?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of schools that, for whatever reason, you know, academia, maybe they concentrate more on other things, you know, maybe it clashes with what they already have on. Because a lot of schools that want to take part, you know, because we have it in the second terms, they have a lot of other things on. They've got sports, so they have their own school concerts, and we don't hold that against them. We understand that that's important to them just as much as Tantra Kahani is important to us. But we would like to see all of the schools who haven't taken part eventually come in and take part of Tantra Kahani, because it's an amazing experience for the teachers, the parents, and the students involved.
Okay. Well, that's a wrap for the show. Thank you for coming this evening and sharing to us about Tantra Kahani.
Thank you very much for having me, Jackie.
Oh my, everyone. I'm so looking forward to the Tantra Kahani now. Anyway, don't go anywhere. Hockey is up next. Hi again, you're watching Coffee Break on MyTV from Bullicino Shot Live. Hockey is a very exciting sport to play, but of course there are high-risk injuries involved with this sport. I should know, I played hockey myself. Let's meet the national head coach for Fiji Hockey, Mr. Hector Smith. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for joining me.
Thank you.
How was the grog? I heard we had to drag him over here for the show. So tell me about hockey.
Well, hockey has been played for quite a number of years in the 1920s, and predominantly it was played by we call part Europeans at the time. Now it's full multiracial sport now. You've got all races played, and it's grown from strength to strength since the introduction of our synthetic surface that is down at the National Stadium. Hockey over the years has developed some good administrators. That's the change in our attitude towards the sport, and ultimately our performance in the region. In the South Pacific, we aren't challenged at all.
That's true.
So we're moving up the ladder where we have to look outside the region to get a tougher competition, and culminating in the World Series last year, where we qualified from round 1 and then went on to round 2
very exciting.
In India.
In India.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just came back from India in February, taking both the two teams. I mean, the men's and the ladies.
Yes.
How was that?
Oh, well,
Very
India.
exciting.
Very exciting. India has been India and Pakistan had dominated the Olympics for 27 years.
And is this the first time for Fiji to?
It's the first time for Fiji in the World Series. Thankfully to Samsung, who decided to support a small island nation. We won by beating the Australian and New Zealand teams down here.
Wow, congratulations.
That came down, and we won the right to participate in the second round. So it was not an easy task. We had to really work hard to get our sporting side ready and also to our financial side. So all in all, I think we did well. And this has been this started last year. We started in 2008, where we decided we wanted a high performance unit to get people in a sort of a supply pool that we could tap into. So we had a feeding path. And we did that since 2008. The first time we played in 2008, we managed to win the bronze medal here. And then from
2008?
2008.
What competition was that?
The Pacific Cup. They developed a Pacific Cup in 2008.
And that was here in Fiji?
Here in Fiji. In 2009 we hosted it again. This time, since then we've been to every final. And that's with Australian and New Zealand teams. The New Zealand Maoris came down. We beat them. New Zealand Indians came down. We beat them. Country Hockey Australia came down, we beat them.
Oh, that's really good
so,
for Fiji.
Prior to this, they used to give us quite a big hiding, you know, 15-0 and 12-0. So now we turn the tables on them, and it's through this competition, and they only came because of the synthetic surface, which all international hockey is played on nowadays. And so it's been a plus for us since 2003. We sort of seen an ascendancy to play. And I think it was a push to host the South Pacific Games, I think, at that time in 2007. And I think you came around and you also played as a gold medalist
goalie.
in one of my teams that I took to Samoa, I think. Yeah,
yeah, that's true. That was really exciting though in Samoa.
Yes. Yeah, so from then on, we sort of tried to uplift standards and try and fix a problem that we got in the Pacific Island. We have a relaxed mode.
Yes, that's true.
So we had to change attitudes.
But it must be different because, like, since you've brought in the the high performance unit.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have it before 2008.
Yeah, and what we did was we first of all by inviting people on a regular basis. Their attendance was an indication of their interest to represent the country. Prior to that, we had tribes, and then you show up and you play a one-game wonder, and then you get selected, and then the real attitude shows down the line when you're in the tournament, which is too late to recover from. So at this time, when you're monitoring them throughout the year, when you're training for the best part of a year, it's easy to gauge that. And you can see people who will stand up when the crunch comes, and people who are there for the trip. So over the years, even during the Pacific Cup, I would drop some very senior players because of discipline. And so it's worked for a positive. You don't become popular as a result, but we're not there to be popular, we're there to be effective. So
can I ask, why did you drop the senior players? I mean, they have experience, right? So wouldn't you want to win regardless?
Well, that's a myth that we all have. Character will always prevail, in my opinion. You can be a flashy person dressed up in all kind of fancy attire. That's not your character. It's a front. I look for character because at the end of the day, character makes a big difference. If we say that we're going to do something at 6 o'clock, then the real people will stand at 6 o'clock. So, and at the time too, when I put out a senior player, he doesn't go right out of the tournament. He goes into the Warriors team as the first step down. So, as a national coach, I'm at the risk of that guy trying to prove that the Fiji team is not the right team. And so far, the Warrior team has never succeeded in beating the national team, even with the introduction of newer players, dropping the senior players. At times, we drop 4 senior players at once, and they all go into the team. And it's so I think it goes the same for any other sport. You pick on names, what he did last year or what he did that year. But
tell me about the development of hockey.
Development, right now we, apart from The national team, we have what you call the under 8, under 14, you got primary schools hockey, you got secondary schools hockey, you got business house.
How many, you said primary schools?
Yeah.
What's the response like from families? Because I mean, a lot of people always think that hockey is very dangerous. Are they worried? Do they ever talk to you or call you?
In primary school hockey, we have actually introduced rules where you can't hit. So it's
good.
a skill level
Right
that
across the
right
field?
across the board, yeah.
So
So
it's
we
all
play
fun.
across the field, and parents are there. It's quite full on Saturday mornings, and during the week too, we have a full-time development officer now, which is Ty Smith. She's down there during the week from 3 to 5, where parents bring in their young kids, and by the time they knock off, they pick them up from there, then they take them home. Yeah, every sport has its danger, and we so far been fortunate that we don't have any injuries. So
None?
the number is growing, and yeah, it's. And then we go on to our club competitions, where each club is encouraged to have a junior development team as part of.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, so it's compulsory now that you have a junior development team. So we start nurturing these people. So when we have our club training, so my senior left half would adopt a player, my centre forward would adopt a player, and the same
And
thing.
how's the response coming?
Very good.
With
It's very-
attendance, everyone's...
It's very good, and
that's good.
parents are really encouraged, and so it also controls us too in the way we behave. So when you have children around, people sort of perform because you're trying to be an example, and it's part of our criteria too in the national team. It's not only what you do on the field, it's how you behave outside. You have to maintain a certain standard of discipline. You don't see our national players falling all over the place and then downtown. So yeah, so
Yeah, I would know.
when it happens, you know, we trying to go to that level, and if we want to be internationally recognized, then I think this other aspect of our side, because we have such a beautiful life in the islands.
Yes,
And
very
you know,
laid
our
back.
friends will call us and we want to go there, but we have to take this into account. And also to FIH has been looking at us favorably recently.
Because of the
performance,
in
the
India.
performance, yeah.
I heard that you moved up 16 places.
Yeah, in the recent tournament we had, we moved up 16 spots on the international ranking by FIH.
Wow.
So that's the biggest move of any sport in Fiji on the international ranking.
International ranking,
Yes.
16.
Yes.
So
And-
beating rugby, no offense to everybody that loves rugby.
Yes, you know, I support all sports, but
That's a big achievement.
it's a
I mean,
huge.
because hockey, you know, hasn't been seen as a, you know, a big sport. Eh? No one really pays much attention to hockey.
Yeah, it's. I think it's like I say, it's an achievement that I'm so happy for the players with the amount of sacrifice they put through. And these players, Jackie, they paid 3,500 each to play for the country.
Wow.
That's not. And I.
That's not an easy thing to
Yeah. If inside my house you're looking at $7,000 because I've got two sons that are actually playing in the national team. So it's quite a commitment of these players, and
true.
I'm happy for them to achieve something because no coach wins the game; it's the players that win. So you know they should be standing proud, and but our objective is to move even further up.
What events does hockey have for the rest of the year, or going into next year as well?
This year on the Pacific Cup has been slightly deferred. So Country Hockey Australia have indicated their intention to be here in December to play the national team in a 3-test series.
3-test series. What
Yes.
does that mean?
3 full tests against the national team. So we are already
For
in
both men and ladies?
both men and ladies. So we're in a preparation
It's
mode.
going to be exciting.
Exciting, yeah. Well, the ladies beat them last year, so we beat them too, and so I think they want to come and take their
Give us
revenge.
another thrashing, but that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And
Good.
Country, the Australian Masters came down this early on in the year. They've never been defeated before. We defeated them, so they went back a bit sore. So I think they'll come back also. Yes, and in June next year, we'll be hosting the first round of the second World Series here at home with Asian teams plus all the Pacific Island teams, and we're really looking forward to it.
Asian teams?
Yes.
Who?
Most likely people like Thailand. The exact names are not mentioned right now.
This is a first for Fiji?
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's going to be exciting.
Because at the moment, without being disrespectful, I think New Guinea, Vanuatu and Samoa are struggling against us. So,
Oh yeah, that's true.
so we're wanting to bring in more competition and, you know, make it more exciting and sort of have a challenge right from the word go.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, even the women, they went up by eight places in the world ranking.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, we both achieved.
So maybe if I come back, then we'll move another two steps up, right?
Well, you know, our objective is always to move upwards, and I think it's possible because we got very young players. A lot of people are in high school. I think we took a 14-year-old
That's really
girl,
exciting.
14-year-old girl too that went
To India.
to India. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of school girls went also, and
So there's a lot of encouragement for young. I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as you have the skill, you have the passion, then
And
you
the-
can get into the squad.
And the key was some administrators, you know, started thinking a bit more professionally, I would say, and took these plans to do this high performance unit. Had some resistance first up, but in the end, it's produced a result.
Sure.
Over 4 years, we moved 16
Sorry, Mr.
places.
Smith, I have to wrap things up, but thank
Okay.
you for that. If there's anything that you'd like to say to the viewers back home, for those who may be interested in joining, what can you share with them?
Okay, the first up, we have a full-time development officer now. That it's for the first time too that we got it. She's based at the National Hockey Center. Thai, she's the development officer. So they're there. Plus, all the Fiji executives are always contactable, and we really welcome new players. And it's a good sport. Any sport played in the right spirit is a good sport. It's not a big risk as people make it out to be. And
Yeah, I think it's a very passionate sport from
yeah,
my experience.
yeah, and it's always been. Whenever we played in the South Pacific Games, we always won the gold medal. So we've never been defeated.
That's
then.
true.
So,
Well, thank you, Mr.
yeah.
Smith.
Thank
And
you very
everyone
much.
back home, if you're ever interested in joining hockey, you can join Mr. Smith or see Ty Smith at the Hockey Tip. Welcome back to Coffee Break. Coming from the friendly islands of Tonga to work here in Fiji at MyTV, Mark Santos, the new general manager. Let's find out more about him. Good evening, Mark, and thank you for joining us this evening on the show.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Pleasure to be here.
Okay. Tell me, career in television, why'd you choose it?
Ooh, big question to start off with. I'd say because it actually came to me out of an opportunity in Tonga. But who wouldn't choose to go into TV these days? I mean, excitement, travel, adventure, chance to watch what you want to see on TV.
True.
So,
Can you tell me more?
Well, yeah, of course. When we actually came into TV in Tonga, it was basically through an opportunity given to me by Tonfon, the original company there, and then later Digicel, assisting with the TV services there. So once I got into it, the experience just grew and grew, and I went into administration, and here I am as general manager in MyTV now.
Okay. So tell me about the roles. I mean, if someone wanted to, have a career in television, what are other things that they can do?
You could, well, actually there's so many things actually, there's too many things. As an industry unto itself, you've got accountants, you've got Of course, you've got the video crews here working tonight, graphics.
Yes, a faithful crew.
These guys are obviously involved in video and editing and graphics, and these are all opportunities that they've probably picked up through training as well as experience. And of course in Tonga, not so much in Tonga, but in Fiji now, you've got these opportunities presented through the university and FNU.
But for something like this, you would need qualifications.
You would definitely need them now. In the old days,
No.
speaking from my age, the old days you probably didn't need them so much as long as you had the experience. But now these days, you of course very competitive, and there's so many overlapping things with online and video and even audio these days. So engineering is very important to this sort of role now.
Okay. Tell me, what's one of the most exciting things that you've experienced in your career in television?
I think being involved in some big events being brought to Tonga was good, was very exciting. Bringing digital TV free to air into Tonga was a big highlight for me. But events like the Rugby League World Cup in 2008 and the FIFA Soccer World Cup in 2010, these sorts of events were big, and the hype behind them were big, and you got to travel around and actually get involved in presenting those events. Those were big things to me.
But FIFA World Cup, I mean, is there a strong interest in soccer in Tonga?
Well, it's good you bring that up. It is.
Yeah, because I mean, you would think rugby or something like that.
Of course, Tonga's national game is rugby, and soccer is always a distant second. But any international event in sports is always regarded in Tonga as a must-see.
What was the response like?
It was huge. It was huge. I think mainly because the New Zealanders did so well in that event, and as a small country, New Zealand participating and actually doing well looked good to the Tongans, who of course are a small country as well, and they sympathised with the results.
Okay. Well, tell me more about your job. Do you get to travel? What are the places that you've been to?
I've been to a lot of exciting places due to the job. Hong Kong, China, Fiji, of course, many times, Samoa, Tahiti, Rarotonga, New Zealand, Australia. You get drawn to these destinations for administration or conferences, training occasionally.
And what was that like, traveling?
The travel itself isn't great. I've got to admit, 8, 10, 12 hours on a plane and then 4 hours waiting in an airport, never much fun. But actually the destinations, meeting those different people, being in those different societies, seeing how places work and how they run. New York, for example, amazing
wow, that's
city.
exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
I mean, because if you didn't do this career, you wouldn't be traveling, right?
Oh, no, I don't think so. But,
so you went to New York. Tell me about that.
The city that never sleeps, it's nicknamed. 4 o'clock in the morning.
I would love to go to New York.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't? And exciting place. Everything runs 24 hours. You're just busy around there all the time. And of course, not long after.
That would be perfect for Fiji. you get McDonald's and everything else 24/7.
If you compare Fiji to Tonga right now, it is like New York. So.
Okay.
But very exciting places to visit, of course.
So what was the trip for, can I ask, in New York?
The one into New York was a board meeting for Digicel, and we had the opportunity to be there for 5 days, and had a chance to travel around, see Ground Zero, Madison Square Gardens, Macy's, all the big shopping places.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And was this your first time?
It was my first time to New York. I've got to say, probably my last time, the amount of money it spends to get down there, but amazing place to visit, definitely. And LA, of course, Disneyland. Oh.
Man, that's really exciting. So, you said that the company Digicel, is it an American-based company?
No, Digicel is a Pacific and Caribbean-based company.
Caribbean? Which island?
Well, all of them.
Oh.
Yeah, so their main office is in Jamaica.
Ever get a chance to go there?
No, I've got to say I was on training for that, but unfortunately due to commitments I wasn't able to make it and missed out on a good opportunity. But maybe one other day, we hope.
Oh, man, that sounds really exciting. I mean, like you've traveled everywhere. But I mean, in reality, if someone were to have a career in television, would they be doing this sort of thing, or?
Well, definitely, there is travel aspects in all facets there. I mean, even in finance, you're always traveling around trying to find the best prices. So of course, you'll be wandering around trying to speak face-to-face with suppliers. The video guys, they're always off filming shows and stories. There's always opportunities to go off. I mean, look at the South Pacific Games last year. There was a good contingent from Fiji, Samoa and Tonga out there. So there's always aspects that will drag you out to travel. And if you want to travel, I highly recommend it as a great profession.
Oh, okay. What is one of the things that you would like to share with maybe some of the viewers watching, if they were ever interested, like, you know?
Well, I think definitely these days you'd have to actually go out and be academically documented as being a TV professional now.
Oh, that's true.
Later on you do the networking and you manage to find your relationships there, but right now you have to get your foot in the door, and to do that you've actually got to go through your studies.
Just moving back to you managing the TV company, DigiTV in Tonga. How was the transition from there coming into Fiji?
Well, DigiTV in Tonga is a pay service, terrestrial, so it's based only in Tonga, but it's 20 channels. And
that's really big.
But in Tonga you've got the 20 channel service, and you've got a free to air and a couple of semi-religious channels with Hope. And then you come to Fiji and there's a very competitive free to air market with MyTV involved in that. And then the pay service stands apart from that. So as a manager, it's two different roles really. But looking after one channel or 20 channels, there are still fundamental business rules that you have to follow, structures, processes.
And what's the difference, like with the teams that you managed there and here?
Well, the team I have here in Fiji is much more production based. The team I have in Tonga was much more sales based, because as an aggregator where you actually bring together 20 channels, whether it's Cartoon Network or National Geographic or Discovery, when you bring them together, you're just selling someone else's product. But here in Fiji, you're actually making the product. 30% of MyTV's content is local, so we produce that, we make it, and then we broadcast it.
So can you tell me some of the local channels that we have on MyTV?
Well, we bring in 4 supplies from overseas. One's ABC, the Australian network, which provides us with a good block of quality entertainment. We've got Al Jazeera English, which brings in our news quota. And then we have DW TV from Germany, which brings in a large quantity of general current affairs and talk shows. And they have a great drive show there and music and fashion, you know, as Europeans tend to have.
Yeah.
And then the last one is TV New Zealand Pacific Service, which supplies us with some regional news packages and also a smattering of sports as well.
Okay. Have you ever thought about having like a TV show based on travel?
Oh yes, and I'd love to present it actually, so I could go out and do all the traveling.
No, you should take me.
But
nominate me.
Definitely, there's a great opportunity here. Maybe in Fiji more so than Tonga, because Fiji being the national hub, the regional hub for Fiji Airlines, it tends to have a much more opportunity to travel and take stories and travel crews with you. Whereas from Tonga, you're not on a hub; you have to hop over to Auckland, Sydney, or Fiji to get out. But even the destinations within Fiji itself would be exciting enough to make a travel show all on its own.
Yeah, because I don't think, I don't know if I recall, there hasn't been one.
Well, that's good.
Let
me just write that down somewhere.
Was there ever one in Tonga?
No, there hasn't been a travel show in Tonga, at least in the 20 years I've been there involved in it.
But then on top of that, you have to look for funding and...
That's a big aspect, and funding and sponsorship is in any environment is always a challenge.
Okay, Mark, one final question. The concept of Coffee Break, how did it come about?
It came about through a session involving our production team and our marketing teams. We were looking for a concept for a new 30-minute show to come in weekly, and the guys came up with this brainstorming idea of Coffee Break. Taking a personal chat between 2 people involved in a conversation and taking them out into a live environment where, you know, cars flashing by in the background, trucks roaring by, and involving that in the conversation. So we were lucky enough to come up with Bullicino as our sponsor, and they gave us the ideal venue, and this is how we ended up here.
But what can you say that's different from every other show that's around? Bullicino, the best coffee?
Basically, anything can happen in the show, and I think if you just keep it live and keep it lively, and people are just reacting to the conversation, then you'll have fun watching us as well.
Okay, and that's a wrap this evening. See you all next Sunday. Good night.